Hello and welcome to Crochet Moments, episode 42. I'm reliably told by Simon. I am Helen. I live in Leicester with my husband and two monsters, otherwise known as Catherine and Emily. And this is my channel where I like to talk about all things yarn and crochet, knitting, buying of yarn, anything really that involves yarn. So it's been 2 weeks since my last episode. What have I been up to? I've been on holiday. As you can see, I'm much perkier than I was in my last episode. Still a little bit croaky, but I can live with that. So I may clear my throat a few times. I might get myself some juice or something in a sec. So yes, we went on holiday. We spent a week in Norfolk and we had a fantastic time. We went on a Dad's Army walking tour, which was amazing. Those of you not in the UK may not be familiar with the programme that is Dad's Army. It is a sitcom that was on TV in the 60s and 70s and in England, in the UK. And it features a bunch of old guys in a fictional place called Wilmington-on-Sea, and they join the Home Guard during the Second World War to defend their country should it ever get invaded by Germans. And lots of hilarity and hijinks occur. I would highly recommend, if you can find any episodes, I don't know if there's anything on YouTube that you might see clips of or something like that. Anyway, it's a fantastic sitcom. We have been introducing Catherine to the classic sitcoms of the 70s and 80s and 90s. And she's absolutely loved Only Fools and Horses. Again, those not in the UK may not be familiar. Look it up. It's hilarious. And so now we're on Dad's Army, and Catherine absolutely loves Dad's Army. So when we decided to go on holiday in Norfolk, and we found out that the place we were staying in was only about a 20-minute drive from a town called Thetford, where almost all of the outdoor scenes in that programme was filmed. And then I discovered there was a museum. I was like, oh, we have to go visit there. And then I discovered they do tours. So we went on this tour. Catherine absorbed every last minute of the almost 2 hours that we were going around. And now whenever we watch an episode, she'll just like, I've been there. I've seen that. And it's just brilliant. If I can persuade Simon to spend a little extra time doing the finishing touches to the editing of my video, I will see if he can put up a few photos from our holiday. But yeah, so Norfolk was beautiful. The weather stayed dry for us, so yay! We surprised the girls with a trip to Hunstanton Beach, and they got to paddle in the sea, which they were very surprised when they got there and the water was cold. Well, it's still April. It's not August. The sea will be cold. So that was funny. They ran in up to their ankles and then suddenly it was like, they ran out again. Absolutely hilarious. So we had a fantastic time. Visited Ely Cathedral as well, and Simon bought me this beautiful crucifix. It's very dainty, so you may not see it very well, but he bought me this lovely crucifix, which I really love. It wasn't an expensive piece of jewellery, but it was just the thought that counts, and the fact that as a Christian, I like to have a symbol of my faith. So, what have I been up to other than being on holiday? Obviously, I've been back at work. Let's ignore that. Let's park that one. I'm always complaining about work. I love my job, by the way. I do complain about it, but I love my job. So it's been a bit of a knit heavy couple of weeks actually. While I was on holiday, I took a few knit projects with me because I was on a knit week. So I'm back to spinning my wheel now, actually. I'll get to that in a minute. So I took 2 socks to work on and Catherine's top. So finished up. Do I have anything finished? No, I don't. I have a half finished object and an almost half finished object, but I'll get to those as I get to the whips. So I'm going to start with Catherine's top, and I've just realised it's just down the side of the sofa. So Catherine's top is living in the bag that I got for my birthday from Silka. It's looking a little bit crinkled because it found its way into the laundry. I'm not quite sure what cycle it ended up on, but it survived. So this is the top that I'm talking about, that I'm making for Catherine. It's a vintage Serdar pattern. I couldn't tell you what year it is because it doesn't have a year. Usually these things have like a copyright with a year, but this doesn't. But anyway, it's a beautiful 4-ply knit lace top. I decided in my wisdom that I was going to try and knit it in the round. And this is how far I got before I decided that I'm not sure and I might probably frog it. So, oops. So here it is. I've got this far on the rib. I've got a whole 6 rounds of rib done. Now the reason I'm considering frogging this and going back to knitting it flat is because I'm doing the smallest size. I've bought the metre long needles. And that's tricky. It's quite tight on the needles, but that isn't the only reason. Reading the pattern when I get to the lace, I'm not confident that I can actually convert the pattern correctly to keep it going in the round, because I'll be working right side facing all the time. I won't be working the pearls. So it's a very complicated pattern to start with. I didn't want to mess things up. So this will be frogged. It will be still carried on. I will still make it, but it won't be knit in the round. I'm going to knit it in pieces. This really lovely yarn is the King Cole Drifter in 4-ply. Now the colourway for this is Orchid. Ooh. There's the colourway. Excuse me. And I love the Drifter yarn. Up until now, I've only used the DK weight. I hadn't even been aware there was a 4-ply weight version of this. I knew there was an Aran weight, and I think I've seen a chunky. Have I seen a chunky? I may be misremembering. But it's a 69% premium acrylic, 25% cotton, 6% wool, and there's 400 meters to a 100 gram ball. And it's just so soft. And I love this one's quite subtle colour changes. So I have made one that crocheted up almost. Where's the shawl? The girls had the shawl. It crocheted up almost as a hand knit yarn. So excuse any bits that are in this. The girls have been playing with it and it's ended up on the floor, so it's probably got a few bits. So this is the DK. I can't remember the colourway. I'll look up the colourway and I shall try and include it below. And it's not really showing, but sort of it's got little speckly bits. I love this shawl. This is a TL Yarn Crafts pattern. I think it's the Adore shawl. It was featured in one of my issues of Crochet Now, and I love it. I made it for Catherine, but I wear it more than Catherine does. It's just a beautiful shawl. It's probably a little on the small side. I would personally make it a tiny bit bigger. Maybe another set of repeats of these. But it was so simple and quick. I think I worked this up in a weekend. There we go. I love it. I'll leave it on for a little bit. It's nice to wear things you've made. But yes, so the Drifter, I would definitely recommend that yarn for a quality budget yarn. So it's not budget. I think I've seen it for around, you're looking at somewhere in the region of £4 to £5 for a 100 gram ball, from most retailers. So for that's not that bad. I buy hand dyed yarn, which is usually starts at £15 for 100 grams, but I would say for how luxury it feels, it's a really good price. So if you can ever get your hands on any of this, do. It's beautiful. So that's that. Let's pop that. So I'm knitting this on my Nova Cubics. These are sizes I particularly bought for this project because I realised what was that? Fluff stuck on it. I don't actually have any 3.25 circular needles. Or at least I thought I did, but I can't find it. Can't find them anywhere. And 3.25, because I use DK quite a lot, is a good size. It's a size that's used for most rib and edgings on DK projects. So why didn't I have them? I don't know. So the 3.25 will be the size the main body of the top is used, and the rib is being done in a 2.75. And again, the cubics, I love the cubics, absolutely adore the cubics. I'm going to be talking way too much this episode. The last couple have been quite short, haven't they? And well, we'll see. Okay, so let's do, what else? What shall I show you next? My knit along and my crochet along. So Expression Fibre Arts, Mystery Knit Along and Mystery Crochet Along. I am working on those and I'm just using colours from my stash. I was making an effort to match as closely as I can some of the colours that in that colourway, but I think I'm just going to go for whatever I can find in my stash. I try and keep the colours scheme roughly the same sort of, so cool colours, warm colours. So let's start with the knit along. That's the yarn. That's the ball of yarn I'm using. That's still attached. So I've been working on this mostly in my 30 minutes of crafting very first thing in the morning. So the alarm goes off at 6 and Simon gets in the shower, and so he takes 20 to 30 minutes. So for that first 30 minutes I work on this. Here it is. So I'm on April part 4, which is looking a little bit like a basket weave type stitch. This is March's. Now, in the description for March, it did say it was similar to a brioche technique. Having not done brioche, I couldn't tell you if it really was, but I really, really like the texture of that stitch. It's really, really nice. It just felt like it took too long. but I'm enjoying it. I'm still enjoying it. It's getting really, really long now, so it's getting to the point where my rows are taking about 15 minutes to knit. And when I get to the end of this, I will be a third of the way through. So when I get to June's, that is the halfway point. I believe that is when it will start to decrease. It's obviously worked on the bias, and it will just get bigger, 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 and then it will start to get smaller. It is rectangular, so it will get smaller one end and continue getting bigger on the other for a little while. So it's sort of, there we go. And I quite like how the colours are working together. Like I said, I've just been picking up colours from the shelf that fall in to roughly the right sort of colour scheme. I'm not the best with picking colours that go together, to be fair. A lot of the time I try and copy what other people have done. It's the same with my Winter Wonderland. The main design was done in Hobie yarn, and I didn't really want to attempt to find the colours in Hobie because they seem to go through fits and starts with their colours. So I just thought, do you know what? I'm just going to have a look to see what other colours other people have done. And then I found a blog of somebody that did the test crochet of the blanket, and she used Starcraft colours. I've gone for similar colours but in the paint box yarn. I haven't started that yet. That still hasn't come up. So we'll have to wait and see on that one. Alright, so let's get that one out so I can put this one back in. So the crochet along. So this one is called Perseverance, and it's definitely becoming a test of my perseverance with those really long rows. And the mystery crochet along is called Hearthside. They are free patterns and they're still available on her website, so I will link them below. So if you like what you see, by all means, go ahead and join me making it. The pattern is done in worsted weight. I'm using DK from my stash. I've got tons of acrylic in my stash, although it's getting a smaller stash. As I start to work through things, with my DK acrylics anyway, that's definitely getting a smaller stash. So this is up to part 3. So this is the general design apparently is inspired by a popular quilting pattern. I'm not familiar with lots of quilting patterns. For me, the only one I'm familiar with is the log cabin one. And it's not quite log cabin-esque, is it? But I like how the colours are working together so far. I wasn't sure about this sort of pinky colour, but it's going to go quite nice. So the next section, the part 4, is going to go all the way around. And before, I'm assuming it's going to go all the way around, then 2 corners, a corner, 1 corner, and then all the way around again. And it's just going to repeat that until it gets to the end of the year. That's my assumption. And each corner, the pattern was the same. It was just different colours. So I'm anticipating similar for the rest of it. Oh, have I not put... Okay. Oh yes, no, I only needed to mark those corners. I was just wondering about my corner markers. Well, I don't need to mark these corners. It's quite obvious where the corner is because that's where the colours change. Silly Helen. Right. Okay, let's pop that away. I'm trying to be good and put everything back in its bag once I'm done, because then there's no arguing over how long it takes me to tidy up at the end of the night. So yes, let's get. I've been writing my pattern. I've been copying out the pattern from the download into my little book. No bad feelings. I'm just into good ones now. I love that. I love these little books. I do need to get some, but these slightly bigger ones. Mainly because it's nice to have a row of pattern that doesn't, if it's a fairly simple row, it doesn't flow onto the next line. For just like half a row, half a line. It would be nice to fit the whole thing onto one line. So next whips. Cheers. My throat's getting a little dry. Been so busy at work today, I've hardly had chance to drink, so I need to make sure I keep my vocal cords nice and moist. So let's carry on with the knitting theme, because like I said, it's been a knit heavy couple of weeks. I've only really, other than the Hearthside, I've only really got one crochet project to talk about today, which I'm quite disappointed about, because crochet is my first love. Well, I say first love. I've been knitting for a lot longer than I've been crocheting, but I seem to have mastered crochet quicker than I ever have done with knitting. I'm still learning a hell of a lot with knitting. Okay, so socks. Let's talk socks. Let's go with my half-finished object. This is my vanilla socks. Those of you who follow me on Instagram, I am at Crochet Moments on Instagram, will maybe have already seen these because I shared a photograph of them while I was on holiday. I've been working on these quite a lot while I was away, because the bag is designed to hang over your wrist. I've been walking along and knitting while looking around, because I'm just doing vanilla socks. So when I'm just doing a straight tube part of the sock, I don't really need to pay attention to what I'm knitting. So let's show you my first sock. Ooh, sock blocker. Where's my sock blocker? I forgot I had this. That will show off the sock much better. So let's, ooh, boop, 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 boop. My phone's beeping at me. Let's pop this on. Now this is probably going to be a little bit big for my blocker because it's for Simon. And he has large feet. And this is a medium-sized blocker. So here is the sock. Look at that yarn. I love this yarn so much. Absolutely adore this yarn. The pattern is just a plain vanilla sock. I'm not really following any actual pattern. I'm just doing 15 rounds of rib. This one's 2x2 rib. I usually do 1x1 or 2x2 rib. Then it's just knit straight. I think for Simon I did I do 60? I think I did 60 rounds for the leg. My preferred heel is heel, flap and gusset. And then just, how many did I do? 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. I did about 75 rounds for the foot before I decreased for the toe, and it's just a standard wedge toe. Because I haven't got the heel stuff and the toe stuff memorised yet, I've just been using the heel and the toes from the other pair of socks that I'm knitting, because I had this pattern book with me. But it's one of those patterns, it's just a plain vanilla sock. You can get these patterns for free most places. Yarn is Attic Spin Dye. Now when I bought it, it was the Lord Veterinary colour. But it is now dark bidding. And it's still available on his Etsy shop. I absolutely adore the black and the purple. I'm just trying to think how true to colour that's coming. It's not too bad, actually. It's not too bad. I just love a half finished sock. So that's that sock. Ooh. And I've got down to, I'm just about to start the gusset on the second sock. So let's pop those spare needles down there. So there it is. So I've done the tube for the leg. I've done the heel turn. So I just have to pick up the stitches. Oh. One of my lights just died. So I'm all in darkness on that side. So this is going to be even harder to show these colours now, look. Okay, so there's that. And yes, I've just got to pick up the stitches for the gusset and then carry on knitting. I do the gusset decreases and then knit, 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 knit. So the yarn bag is Bellica Yarns, and I bought that at Wool Junction 13. I think I got that one, this bag from. The DPN holder I got from the Bakewell Wool Show, and it's from Jo Piccalilli. I love her DPN holders. She's got all sorts of little project bags and things like that on her Etsy shop. So do take a look at her. So that's that project. Right, okay, so the next sock project, I must dig out one of my DPN holders for this one because I haven't got it in there. I'm so close to the toe on this. So close. But I'm getting second sock syndrome already on this, and I'm only on the first sock. I'm not enjoying this sock anymore. This is a ribbed sock with a moss stitch panel running down the front and the back. And next time, I find ribs so tedious. I just can't. Rib is so boring. And next time I make a sock pattern, follow a sock pattern rather, that is, I'm going to open the drapes just because that will let a little bit light in and not have me so dark. That's better. Some sun shining. The sun is shining. We had the drapes closed for the lights, but that one died. I'm no longer in darkness. That's better. Sound take Mickey out of me now because I said drapes instead of curtains. Anyway, so yeah, so next time I follow a pattern that has this much rib in it, it's going to be a pan for Emily. Because I just can't. All of this rib has been so tedious. So 60 rows. 60 rows. And then there's having to pay attention to, so it's a 2-row repeat for the moss stitch to allow for the moss stitch panels. And I have to. And the rib isn't the same width all the way around. So there are 3 stitch ribs. There are 4 stitch ribs. I'm just done. I'm just done. But I promised Simon a pair of socks, and I need to get on with it. This was my spun project. I've gone back to my decision wheel. I had to download a new one because my old one stopped working. But those of you new to my channel who haven't seen any of my previous episodes, I for a long time decided which work in progress to work on using a decision wheel on my phone, an app. And I would spin for which project to work on and then how many days. And I felt at one point that the app wasn't being terribly fair, and it was the same projects were coming up over and over and over. So I thought, well, okay, so let's just try doing a week knitting and a week crocheting. And then I had a top that I was making for Emily that I was desperate to get done in time for holiday, and then we forgot to pack it, so I made her a little cardigan, a little ballet wrap cardigan that she asked me to make for her. Anyway, so next time this comes up, I will definitely have this sock finished and the next one cast on. No, I can't. At the moment, I was supposed to have worked on it last night and I ended up doing puzzles on my phone while I was watching TV. That's not very good, is it? I have a new start. I was a little bit naughty, really. I shouldn't be starting new stuff. On Facebook, in various knitting groups that I am a member of, I keep coming across pictures of people sharing something called a 10-stitch blanket. And I'm like, wow, that sounds fun. And it looks great. It looks really great. And I was like, oh, let me look into that. So I downloaded the pattern. It's a free pattern and there's lots of tutorials on YouTube to help, which is good because I did need to use a tutorial. I'm not very far, and because it's not going to involve lots and lots of thinking once I get going on it. I might do this tonight because when I finish filming this, I'm pouring myself a gin to reward myself after a very stressful week at work. But here is my attempt so far at a 10-stitch blanket. So I'm literally not very far at all. This is using the Hayfield Spirit yarn. I couldn't tell you which colour this was because I don't have the yarn band for this one, and the other two balls I have of it are upstairs. The designer of the blanket did say that for her blanket that measured quite a big, she needed about 700 grams of yarn. I'm just going to keep going with what I have, see how big it is, and decide whether or not I need to buy more yarn. Because it will probably have to be an online purchase. I'll have to balance it out with some other yarn, won't I? Oh, dear me. Maybe I could buy some when I am choosing the yarn prize for my blanket along. And now full announcement of my blanket along will be coming, I promise. So here it is so far. I'm going to carry on with that tonight. I'm using my knitpro zing DPNs. This is the 4.5 millimeter. So one thing I don't like about this yarn is it unravels so easily. Just whole loops of it come off and you can sometimes end in quite an angle. Okay, so my last whip, and then we can start talking some of my incoming. This is living in my Emma ball bag that I bought from Bakewell Yarn Show. This is... Ooh, my hook's getting tangled up in stuff. The pattern I'm following is in that Macro Botanica bookazine. And it is the Metamorphosis Wrap. No, that is a wrap that I plan on making though. Here it is. I absolutely love the look of this wrap. My only concern is I'm making a large because I have a mummy tummy. But I've just joined a gym, so by the time I finish this it may be too big. We shall have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see. I could possibly change it to a medium. Just double check. Oh no. If I wanted to do a medium I'd need a smaller centre square. I'll make it work. I'll make it work. Because I love how there are so many different ways that you can wear this wrap. And it's designed to be worn as a top. Sort of over a top. So I love it so much. Now I'm not using the recommended yarn. The recommended yarn is an alpaca yarn. And I do not wear alpaca because it makes me itch. So I am using some Hey J yarn, and this is yarn I bought at my very first yarn show visit, and I got it in a bargain bucket, and I bought 2 skeins of this yarn. It's a lace weight yarn, and I don't know what I was thinking going for lace weight because until I started this, the smallest yarn I worked with is fingering weight. It's 50% merino, 50% silk. There's 100 grams in a skein. There's 800 meters to a skein. This is the black currant colourway, which is absolutely gorgeous. I'm not entirely sure if this colourway is still available on her website. I will link her website in the description box below or to the side or wherever, depending on what you're watching me on. It's either at the side or it's underneath. But yes, so this is the yarn I'm using. It looks amazing caked up. And this is how far I have got. Let's get it the right way around. I really must sew these ends in. So there it is so far. So I discovered I was working it wrong. I was joining it in rows, and I'm actually supposed to be joining it in V's. So I've changed that, so I am joining it in V's. I've got one to go here. So here it is. It's very, very delicate, and it's very beautiful. These are join as you go. So I do the first 2 rounds. Is it 2 rounds? One? Yeah, the first 2 rounds, and then the 3rd round is join as you go. So I'm really, really enjoying working on this. Yes, looking at this, I think I've sewn the ends in on 1 square. That was good of me, wasn't it? So it's good. This is the central panel, so it will sit sort of like that, and then the wings will go however the wings go, depending on how I'm wearing it. I'm hoping I have enough yarn. By meterage compared to the other yarn that it recommends, I should have enough. But I still have all of this left, and I am over halfway, almost halfway on the central panel, so you never know. Absolutely enjoying working on it, although there is a small error in the pattern. I had to put something on the official Sheepies Facebook page to check. I was like, the pattern says I need to do 20 motifs, but the schematic shows 25. Which one do I need to follow? They've told me to follow the schematic. So if anyone has this bookazine and wants to make this pattern, follow the schematic for the amount of motifs to make, not the written pattern. It tells you how many where it says, because it says to make 20, and I was like, but that's a 5 by 5 square, and the last time I did maths, 5 times 5 was 25. So that's all my whips. Oh dear, I'm definitely going to be over the hour today, but I don't care, because I don't know, I'm on a bit of a high to this week. Today I joined a gym, and I think I'm still feeling the endorphins from yesterday's workout. So anyway, incoming. Now, I know I said in my last episode I was going to look for some souvenir yarn. I never found a yarn shop. I researched yarn shops and I found a few on my phone to visit, but I never found time to visit them. When we went to Ely, we were at the cathedral for a good couple of hours, and then Catherine wanted pizza for lunch, so we went to a restaurant that took forever to bring our food. And yes, then Catherine decided, she's got it in her head, she loves antiques, and she says, I want to have a look in an antique shop. And in Ely there's this absolutely humongous antique centre to visit. It's amazing. It's on like 3 floors. Was it 3 floors or 4 floors? But it's got massive square footage, absolutely amazing. And she bought a couple of little bits, nothing expensive. But yeah, so anyway, I ran out of time to buy souvenir yarn. I'm very disappointed in that, considering how many souvenirs I bought for the girls. I wanted some souvenirs for me, but never mind. Never mind. So yeah, yes, I was talking about incoming. Talk about going on wittering. Incoming. Ooh. So I've had my Attic Spin Die subscription arrive, and as usual, it's beautiful. I have to check my Etsy records to see if I've signed up for the next one. I can't remember. So as always, it comes with a little goodie bag with a lavender sachet. I've got so many of these now. And a beautiful mini. So I love that so much. And a tea bag. So this one is 3 chamomile. I'm definitely going to have to try that because I do enjoy chamomile. Okay, so that's the freebie. So now yarn. So this is, so I get both subscriptions available that on Attic Spin Die's site. I have the Bird of the Month one and the Alice in Wonderland. So Bird of the Month, you're obviously told what the bird is, and the colourway will be in some way associated with the look of that bird. And the Alice in Wonderland is complete mystery. You're just given the chapter title. So each chapter of the book Alice in Wonderland has a title, so you get the chapter title. And you don't know how it's coming. It could be 100-gram skein, it could be 20-gram minis, it could be 2 50-gram skeins. You don't know how it's coming, and you don't know anything about the theme of the colour. So this is my Bird of the Month. It is the Wren colourway, and I absolutely love this so much. This needs to be a scarf or a hat for me. Oops. Because I love this colour so much. So much. I need to, this is a colour for me, for definite. I love it. And it's got the usual, they always have a little stitch marker, so this one's a bird in a cage. I've lost track of how many of these ones I've got now. I've got quite a few. I don't mind, because they're really cute. So there's that one. And then my Alice in Wonderland is chapter 4, The Rabbit Sends in a Little Bill. And we have a little Bill who is a lizard, and I can't really see it, a little drink me tag. So it's obviously they're all, get a little picture, that's so cute. And here is the skeins. So we've got two 50-gram skeins. We've got Bill the Lizard, which I'm going to assume is the green one, and Drink Me Bottle. And I really love this. So this is in Superwash Merino 75-25 nylon base, and you would get, well, it's approximately 425 meters for both of them, so that would work out at 215-ish, 210, 215-ish meters per skein, 50-gram skein. I love these. I would really like to find a pattern that I can stripe these on, because they're so cool. I love them so much. And you get a lavender pouch as part of the subscription as well. Like I said, I'm building up quite a collection and I love lavender. We used to have a lavender bush growing just outside our front door, but Simon dug it up because it kept overgrowing and just getting in the way when we were just going through the front door. Okay, so incoming. Let's start with some of the things that I bought while I was on holiday. Let's see, is that everything that I bought? Yes. So while I didn't find any yarn, we did go to a number of charity shops and second-hand bookshops where I found some vintage patterns. Although some not as vintage as others. This is quite vintage. Save money knitting for you and your family. This cost me 99p in the Oxfam shop in Ely, and I love that it's dated so I know exactly how old it is. Presented free with Woman's Own, January 10th, 1970. I love this kind of thing. I love the look of a lot of these vintage designs. There's a couple of things in here that I want to make. So Catherine wants me to make this top. It's a beautiful knitted top with crocheted collar and cuffs. It's absolutely gorgeous. And I can't help wondering if I could maybe make it longer. Turn it into a dress. Maybe. I don't know. I'll have to think about that. But there's a few lovely patterns in here. Let's see. So Catherine quite likes this shirt dress. I'm not sure if I'll make that one or not though. I mean, my main reason for buying it was that pattern. But there's some lovely, I quite like these patterns here, the his and hers twisted cable. Is it twisted cable? How does it describe itself? Oh, rope cable, I think it describes it. And I love how it tells you how much it would cost to make a top, make something. So it says here, our two sweaters ring the changes on the familiar rope cable patterns. Her sweater costs from 46 shillings 8p. His from just over 60 shillings. It's just amazing. And there's these lovely children's patterns. So I love this little yoked jumper. And then there's, ooh, where is it? And there's this little pinafore dress, and I quite like that top there for myself. I'm going to have to spend quite a lot of time on yarn sub websites to see if I can find an appropriate substitution yarn for these, because obviously, for obvious reasons, these yarns are no longer being made. It's like 50 years ago. So yeah, so that was a lovely find. I couldn't stop looking through it after I bought it. Then I came across this lovely West Yorkshire Spinners pattern book. Now I really enjoy the look of a lot of the West Yorkshire Spinners patterns. I don't necessarily feel that I will always use the West Yorkshire Spinners yarns, but I'll definitely be using this. I'm just seeing if I can find a publishing date on this one to see how old it is, but it's fairly recent. I don't think so, because it features the bird colourways. I don't think the bird colourways are that old. I think they're only 2 to 3 years old. So this is a fairly recent pattern book. I bought it for £2 in the National Trust second-hand bookshop at Wimpole Estate. And there's just some lovely patterns in here. Oops. There's really nice cowl necked, or is it a shawl neck? I'm not quite sure. Some nice tops, cardigans, some accessories. So there's really lovely some mitts there, or wrist warmers more like. And I really love the look of this wrap here, and this top and this cardigan. So yeah, so there's that one. When I'm going to find time to make these things, I don't know, but it's nice to have the patterns there. I did look for crochet books and crochet patterns, and there weren't any. I did look. I found a learn to crochet beginners book, but I'm no longer a beginner, so I couldn't really justify buying that just because it was a crochet pattern. And there was only a couple of things in there that I particularly liked. Anyway, Louisa Harding pattern book. Now this is the hummingbirds. I'm aware of Louisa Harding and her yarns. I've never used them. I would like to. I would love to see if I can give them. I haven't even looked to see if you can still buy them. But yes, so this is 2007, so it's a little bit dated, but I love that top. In fact, I would love a crochet pattern for that hat. That hat looks crochet. It's not. It's sort of woven type stuff with a little bit of what looks like crochet in there. But I would like that as a pattern. And there's a nice vest top that Catherine likes. So there's this lovely beach cover. Catherine likes spending time on the beach, but she doesn't like to be uncovered. So, but there's some beautiful projects in here too. Just a little bag. So, but yeah, so I look forward to giving some of these a go. Maybe even see if I can find some of the yarns. So that is all I bought while I was on holiday for yarning type things. My magazines have arrived. I did buy a magazine. I bought this month's Simply Crochet, and the reason that I bought this month's Simply Crochet is because, when I can find it, look who's featured. Woo! My good friend Andy and Angela of Attic Spin Dye. Well, we all know how obsessed I am with Andy's yarns, so it was lovely to read it, and just a little bit more background really. And there's this lovely little pattern to crochet, a rainbow. That's so cute. That is really very cute. So I absolutely love that so much. There's one or two things in here that I may make. I'm not sure how likely I am to get around to making them. Simply Crochet has never really been a pattern book that a magazine that I've been drawn to for purchasing. I do quite enjoy the look of that shawl though. It's very lovely. It looks like it's done in a chunky yarn, so I bet that works up really quick. So that came with Amigurumi Down Under. So I have to make some of this because one of my longest running subscribers, Soffity, she's a fantastic supporter of my my teeny tiny little channel. She's in Australia. She lives in Australia. So and she did send me some cotton yarns. I thought it would be fun if I could, depending on if I can get some of the colours to match, or at least make it look vaguely attractive. But so there's a koala and a crocodile in a beret. He's so cute. A swag man. I'm not quite sure what a swag man is. So anyone in Australia who can fulfill, or not, who can fill me in on what a swag man is, please do. So this apparently is a quokka. I haven't got a clue what a quokka is. He's cute, whatever he is. And then meet the designers. So everything is designed by an Australian designer. So we've got Alana O'Day, Amanda Beachy, MJ Carlos and Erin Ali. Not designers I'm familiar with, but their designs are cute. I've had my Knit Now magazine. Thought I heard the door then. I am going over a bit. Simon's probably sat up there saying, oh, can't you tell she's feeling better? So I won't go through all of the patterns, but here's my Knit Now magazine. This came with a colour work kit, so some little bobbins and sort of like an introduction to colour work type pattern book. Yes, the yarn on those bobbins is to make, where is it? Where is it? It's a cup cozy. I'm not sure if I'll make that. I don't know. Because the yarn on these things aren't always very good. I've also had my Crochet Now magazine. And I love that. I love the cover project. That's on my wish list of things to make. That looks like a chunky yarn. So again, a quick make. And it features the next crochet along. It's on that page. There it is. Which is the piece of cake cow. That's what it's going to look like. So it's a sampler pattern. There's going to be 2 squares a month released, 1 beginner and 1 intermediate, and the idea is you make 2 of each every month, and then you crochet it together, join it together to make the blanket. I'm not using the colours that are in the magazine. I am going to be I've got a lot of sort of purpley type shades in my stash, and I've just picked those out and I'm going to be using those. I do need to get I need to get some for the border, for the lighter contrast colour, because I don't have enough balls of my lighter contrast colour that I was planning on using to use on this. So I will have to buy yarn, but not a lot of yarn to do that, working from stash. Extras, I've got a Snoopy jumper, which I probably won't make. So if anybody fancies a crochet pattern for a Snoopy jumper, just let me know. I'll pop it in the post to you. Just drop me an email. First person to email will get it. And I was quite excited to see this because I've wanted it for a while but couldn't justify buying it, because all I really wanted it for is the poncho and also the little teddy bear outfits. So Emily has got one of those Our Generation dolls that and the outfits in here will fit. Or should fit. So the plan is I'm going to make some. But I just love how I can make Emily a poncho and make her doll a poncho too. So they will match, and Emily would love that. So she's just so adorable. So that's what I will do. Now I think I'm running out of space on the memory card, so I should stop whittering on. So I will just quickly mention my blanket along. I am going to be putting together some ideas of blankets to make for blanket along. It is a knit or crochet. You can whips, if you have something that you've been meaning to get on with for a while and haven't been, then by all means that can be used, as long as you've not only got like a row to go to finish it, to join. And yes, so I will be doing that video somewhere towards the middle of May, so probably in a couple of weeks time, separate to my normal episodes. It will just be a quick 5-minute video like I did last year, and it will run from the end of May to the end of August. And the plan is I'm going to order a blanket kit with a pattern to go to the one lucky winner of the blanket along. So I'm going to stop talking now. I'm going to go get myself a drink. Well, I'm going to tidy up all my mess first and then go and get myself a drink. And I will see you all again in a couple of weeks. Hopefully, still this chirpy Helen, and not the, oh, I'm so poorly Helen. I don't know what's up with me today. I'm like floating on the ceiling high. And honestly, I'm not high. And I'm not drunk either. I haven't been drinking yet. So anyway, I am going because Simon will be thinking, what the hell is happening to me? Why am I still talking? And I will see you all again in a couple of weeks. Goodbye.